Hi friends, this is a Bijou Baker. I'm Maria. So last time we showed you how to make that buttercream, and up here's the recipe and directions on how to make that wonderful buttercream. Well, now what? So hopefully you've made it and you've been practicing with it and practicing with it and practicing with it. And so now I'm going to show you a couple more flowers that you could do. The recipe that I gave you is the best recipe for decorating. When you ice your cake, you're going to want to thin it down a little bit because it's too thick for spreading, and it'll roll on itself and you'll end up with a spatula full of icing and crumbs all around it. And that's a good treat, but it's not what you want. In another lesson, I'll show you exactly how to ice your cakes without getting any crumbs on your cake, even chocolate cake, I promise. So I want to talk to you about a few different tools that you're going to need. The tips, they all have their own unique purpose, but most tips can be used for more than just one thing. So a couple things that I do want you to get. When you're working in a bakery and you got just a lot going on and everything is hustle, you don't really have time to stop and mix a bowl of color. If you need a particular color, you don't want to get a bowl and then do that. I'm going to lower the boom just a bit, okay? So here's what I have. I've got this slab of marble that I purchased, and I just stuck some legs underneath it so that I can put my hands, to make it easy to lift. And this is where I mix my icing. I always keep my icing in airproof container, and you really want to do that. So I'm going to show you right now just how to mix some color on a slab. And the reason I'm doing it on this instead of any other marble is because food coloring can stain. So I'm really going to just plop it on there, always covering it after every use because you don't want air to get into it. So I'll take a soft pink. Let me just remember how I want to do this. Food coloring comes in several different mediums. The gel is going to be your best. Liquid is good for like dyeing eggs, but try not to use that in your icings because it's going to water your icing down, and that might be exactly what you want, in which case knock your socks off. But for keeping a consistency, you don't want any more water in it. Once you get to the point where you like it, leave it there. So they also have powders. Those are okay. I just prefer the gels, but you try whichever one is going to work best for you, and stick with that, or don't stick with it. Try them all. So those are the icings, and there's a couple different kinds. These are Amerigel. It's just a gel. It is a gel, and it's good, and it's really it's a potent and vibrant color. Now, when you're making, what is it, true red, super red, or black, those colors are going to get darker the longer they sit. So if you know you're going to be needing those colors, make them today for tomorrow, because they'll darken up and get more vibrant as they sit. Those are the two colors that'll also stain your tongue. So just so you know. I mean, if you're walking at a party and you iced a cake in black icing with this super gel, and everyone's smiling and they've got this funky black smile, that's why. I've seen it. I've done it. I mean, I did it as a joke, and fortunately I knew who I was doing it with, so they were good about it. But stop it. All right, so back to the coloring. Okay, so and this stuff, I'm telling you, it will stain you. So you really want to be careful with it. It is going to color anything in its path. Look at that. It'll color anything in its path. All right, so I'm going to spread it out. One drop. That's it. That's all I'm going to do is one drop. And I'm going to scoop it up and put it right on back to itself. And that one drop did all of this. It gave it a really pretty color. Now, ordinarily, I would just stop here because I like that marbled color, especially if it's going to be for roses. I like the way that looks. The flower I'm going to show you now, as a matter of fact, I am gonna add one more speck, and I mean really just not even a full dot. Okay, you see that? That's kind of cool looking, and so I'm gonna put it in a bag. Remember, I'm covering it, my hand completely covered, so that it's gonna, this part here is just gonna stay really clean. This is all gonna go down inside one sweep. And I'm taking everything because it'll be less to clean. Now, as far as cleaning, by the way, I did want to tell you something about cleaning your bags and your tools with buttercream icing. Because it is a shortening or butter base, this is not something you want to just, you don't want to put your leftover scrapings in the sink to go down the drain. It can start to build up and clog your drain. The hottest water you can possibly stand, let that run for a while. Scrape everything out as best as you can with a good rubber spatula. Throw that away in the trash. Then use some Dawn. Dawn is the best grease cutter I've ever used, and well, it's the only thing I have found to get out this kind of stuff. Clean it really well, let it soak, and that's how you clean your icing bags. So now you have a bag of icing. Now let's say, pause please, sorry. Let's say you're going to be working on this stuff, but you need to put all your stuff together and organize before you can actually start producing. Take a strip of clear plastic wrap, cover the top of this, and use this to seal it. And this is how, if you're going to be doing things for a couple of days at a time, this is how you want to keep the tips. It'll never get hard this way. Another thing you want to do is when you're you saw when I was making the rose, you saw a lot of icing come out over here, and you're probably thinking, man, that's gonna fall. It wasn't gonna fall. I know the feeling of it, but you really want the tip of your bag, the end of this bag, to be clean, because there's nothing that drives me crazier than seeing people squeeze and squeeze and squeeze and squeeze, and this just starts to make such a mess. And that's how you bring it back. But now this is dirty, so when you want to go back and reuse it, well, then you got to really meticulously carry and watch and not get this stuff on you, and well, don't do that. So just keep the end clear as best you can, and it'll be really easy to you just got really high, didn't I? Really easy to refill. And another thing you can do, and I really do recommend, especially for the beginners, is just twist the end, fold the end, and put a rubber band or a clip or something here, and let it stay like this, especially if you're going to leave it overnight. Even this I put in an airtight container, Ziploc bags or anything just to keep the air away. All right, so let me make a couple more of these, because there's some flowers that I do want to show you, and a couple tricks that'll help you make a bunch. Okay, one second. Okay, so I've got my colors mixed. I've got a blue with a few different colors in it, which is what I want. A purple-ish with a little bit of pink mixed into it, and I want that marbled look. I really like that because it'll show up. It'll show up in just the right places for your flowers. Now, I have a cup. An ordinary cup? Yeah, but I have a piece of styrofoam in here. Now, later on, I'll show you in another video how to make cookie bouquets. That's going to be fun. And I've used these for to put 2 cookies in there for the kids' teachers. You know, an apple and a notepad or something like that, you know. So I'll show you how to do that. But that's what I have. Since that's not what we're doing here, the purpose of this cup, you're going to be practicing your flowers on a rose nail. You're going to switch your tips. So this is where it's going to come in. So when you're switching your tip, you're going to let it sit there and hold it while you switch it, so you've got both hands free, okay? And you're also going to need some square sheets of wax paper. And you'll put a generous amount of icing on it to hold it down. And I'll show you the way it should be done. And then I'll tell you what tips you're going to use. So I'm going to show you how to make a, what is it called? A geranium? A geranium and a mum. The geranium is this grass tip. Can you see that? Is that better or worse? It's just a bunch of holes, okay? And this is what you'll use for grass or fir or stuff like that, or geraniums. See, I don't garden. I don't even know the blue flower and the purple flower. This is a tip 80, and it's kind of like a half moon tip. I don't know. Am I even? There you go. Okay, this is what you're going to use for lily of the valleys or mums. So let's go ahead and start. The first thing you're going to do, you're going to build a base. It doesn't matter what color your base is, but you're going to use a 10 tip. You can really use any tip. And like for when I make the roses, I just use the rose tip, just because it's there, and I don't need to switch it out. But until you know how to do all these things by yourself without effort, let's go ahead and do it right, okay? So you're going to get a 10 tip. We'll make the mum. I told you I don't do this. All right, so, and, oh, I'm screwing on the wrong thing. And for this, because we're going to use this tip, there's no way you're going to get a round good base on that, so you do need that. So I'm going to lower it here just a bit. And remember what I'm doing. Whatever will fit in my pan, that's what you're going to use. All right, you're going to put a generous dollop. Okay, that's good and stuck. All right, so I'm not going to put it there. Oh, you can, but no, don't. No, you can't. All right, so you're going to get a good base, and you're going to squeeze, 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 lift. Okay, don't worry about the peak. It's all going to get hidden. I'm going to poke it in that styrofoam and let it sit while I switch over my tip. And this is the same action, one step, over and over and over and over. So, okay, you getting that? You're going to start at the bottom, go around and around and around and around until you work your way up, all right? So let me see. I'm going to... Whoa. All right, so you're going to sit and pull. This is a soft buttercream. That's all. I'm squeezing and pulling, squeezing and pulling. It's funny because I said never squeeze as never pull as you're still squeezing unless you're making a mum. All right. So you got one down. You're going to continue this whole thing on the next level. Row after row after row. Sorry guys, I'll tell you what. Let me go ahead and pause this so that you don't get bored. All right, 1 second. All right, I'm almost to the top. Okay, so I'm just going to finish this up a few more. All right, now I'm not about to tilt this flower this time, so I'm going to tilt the camera. Okay? Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this off and lay it down to dry. And go for my next flower. A good dab. flat, and it's good for the next one. Now I'm going to go ahead and repeat this until I finish this icing, just because I want a lot of mums on the cake. What I'm going to do is I'm going to make a cake next time, and then we're going to use these flowers to decorate it. Some of the flowers I'm going to put right on the cake because I want to show you how to use the scissors to transfer. Until you're comfortable with that, let's just go ahead and work on this and you'll be just fine. So let me switch my tips, and let's go with the blue. Geranium. I don't know flowers. I don't know flowers. I'm not even joking when I said that. All right. I'm going to go ahead and use this tip because I've already dirtied that big tin tip, and it won't matter because everything is going to get covered. So I'm going to make a ball, and it's a high ball. I mean, you want height in these flowers, and with it's round like that. See it all like that Play-Doh thing, and all you're going to do is squeeze and let go. That's it. That is the only action to this, around and around, just like that one. But the colors in this are going to give it some really neat depth. Okay, it's kind of neat. You can go higher. I would go higher, but so those are the two things. And like I said, I'm going to continue doing these until my icing's gone, and I'll make some pink both also. So I'll have 3 different colors to work with, and then we'll do the yellow and then the green. The green, I'll show you how to do leaf tips, leaves with depth, and I think that's it. Those are your tips and tricks and a couple flowers to practice on. And like I said, we'll make a cake and put them all together and make it pretty. All right. Until next time, my friends. Happy baking.
Ah, that was fun. Don't forget to like and subscribe.